Okay, this is a subject sometimes maybe I get too emotional about. I run a lot and I see a lot around me. We're talking about summer heat and watering our lawns. And a lot of times, we know, the summer heat can be hard on our plants and our lawns, but I think we're even harder and we're more brutal to our lawns because a lot of people overwater. We need to get out of that habit. So let's bring in an expert. We've got Tonya Ashworth, UF IFAS Extension from Duval County. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Always great to see you. And you brought some show and tell here with the rain gauge. And the big problem folks have, and it comes down to this, they're not sure how much they should be watering, and I think they got it backwards as far as how they're watering their lawns. Can you explain more?
Sure. So the recommendation is no more than twice a week, and you want to put out 1/2 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch when you irrigate.
That's twice a week, not every night like I'm seeing on those walks with the dogs.
Right,
okay.
twice a week.
So how do we measure? How do we know we're getting 1/2 inch twice a week?
Okay, so the problem is our irrigation timers are not set up for inches, they're set up for minutes. So what you have to do is get several little tuna fish cans or cat food cans.
Right, I've got those, okay.
And then set them out in your lawn in kind of a random pattern. Now turn your timer on for 15 minutes and stop it and measure with a ruler how much you collect. And this way you can determine how many minutes you need to leave your timer to get to that 1/2 inch of rain.
Okay. And then you just measure with the rain gauge you have as well?
Yeah, so another thing people do is they use rain as a supplement to their irrigating instead of using irrigation as a supplement to rainfall.
See, it was backwards all along, okay.
Yeah, so get yourself a little rain gauge, put it in your yard, and when we have, afternoon rains every single afternoon coming up.
We can measure, it's fun, and the kids this time of year, they're looking for things to do, read some books, do something. They can keep track of the rain for mom and dad.
Right, and so if we've already reached the amount of rain that we need, we can turn the irrigation timer off. Irrigation timers should not be set it and forget it. That's not how you should do it.
Okay. And I've been guilty at times about not sure about how much to water, and I'm sure I've overwatered myself because you get worried. So I'm thinking, how do we know when we really need that water? Folks are confused. So how do we know there's a lot of stress on maybe our plants or our lawn? Yeah,
so you can turn the irrigation timer off altogether and let your lawn show you when it needs water.
Okay, so it'll give us some signs.
There are 3 things to look for. Right. So the first is that when you're walking and you put your foot down and it makes a depression in the grass, does it spring back up or does it kind of stay depressed for a few seconds? If it stays depressed, then it's thirsty.
Okay, that makes sense. And if it gets real crunchy, maybe, I know sometimes.
Yeah, you wait a little long if it's crunchy. Okay. And then the other way is you can look at the leaf blades. If they start to roll, then it's a sign of wilt. And then if the color starts to look a little off, like a slightly grayish tinge, then it needs some water.
Okay, very good. And I know most of our rain this time of year does come in the form of thunderstorms, and a lot of that runs off as well. So basically we now know how to water and we know how to check for water. And what is your best advice on keeping that lawn that beautiful green color we all love to see?
Don't overwater. People overwater all the time, and they don't realize that when they overwater, they are increasing their likelihood for fungal diseases. And a lot of people have St. Augustine grass and take-all root rot and gray leaf spot are 2 fungal diseases that just thrive in the summer when we get these storms, and then people irrigate on top of that. And then also dollarweed. A lot of people will have dollarweed in their lawns.
I've seen it, and I've had problems. I had to get that treated. A little too much water in the backyard, I think.
That's right. That's a sign that you're overwatering if you've got dollarweed.
Okay, very good. Well, we appreciate you and all the helpful information, and I guess nature's not the culprit here. It's us. We can do something to make this much better for all of us. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, and of course, for much more on this, head to our website, and that's firstcoastliving.net.